by Worldwire News. While Angola confirmed the family's arrival on May 16, 2025, the Gabonese government has yet to release a formal statement. What remains clear is this: the Bongo era is over, and its quiet exit into exile may signal deeper shifts across Central Africa. The dynasty that defined a nation, Ali Bongo, came to power in 2009 following the death of his father, Omar Bongo, who had ruled Gabon since 1967. The Bongo family embodied a classic post-independence model of personalist rule, marked by vast oil wealth, elite patronage networks, and an entrenched grip on national institutions. For years, the Bongos were seen as unshakable. Their rule weathered opposition, economic challenges, and widespread allegations of corruption. But in 2018, a stroke left Ali Bongo partially incapacitated, igniting concerns over leadership succession and fueling internal instability. When the military staged a coup in 2023, citing serious institutional dysfunction, many viewed it as long overdue. The power transfer, led by General Brice Oligui Nguema, was swift and bloodless. Bongo was placed under house arrest, and his family members were detained on charges ranging from embezzlement to money laundering. The road to exile. Although Bongo was later declared free to move, he remained in Libreville, largely isolated from the public and political life. Meanwhile, his wife Sylvia and son Noureddine were kept in basement detention cells inside the presidential palace, an act that drew widespread criticism from human rights observers and regional leaders. On May 9, 2025, the family was transferred to house arrest, a move seen as a concession to growing pressure from the African Union, which had suspended Gabon's membership following the coup. In an important gesture toward diplomatic rehabilitation, Gabon was reinstated into the O on April 30, 2025, contingent on improving the treatment of the Bongo family and advancing democratic reforms. A week later, the Bongos boarded a flight to Angola, escorted by diplomatic security and received discreetly by Luanda's presidential protocol team. The Angolan government has not confirmed whether the family was granted political asylum or is residing under a different diplomatic arrangement. Legal and political ramifications. While Ali Bongo himself has not been formally charged with any crimes, his wife and son remain under legal scrutiny. Sylvia Bongo is accused of having embezzled millions from public coffers through shell companies and foundations, while Noureddine, once considered a potential successor, faces charges of money laundering and influence peddling. Their departure to Angola has raised new questions. Will Gabon pursue extradition or drop the charges quietly? Does this mark the end of legal proceedings, or a negotiated settlement? What message does this send to other African political elites accused of corruption? The lack of clarity has led to public speculation and political debate, especially among opposition voices who view the Bongo departure as a backroom deal rather than an act of justice. Oligui Nguema and the new Gabon president Brice Oligui Nguema, a former head of the Republican Guard, has wasted no time consolidating power. He won a post-coup election with nearly 95% of the vote, a figure widely criticized by international observers as implausible in any competitive democracy. Yet, Nguema has positioned himself as a reformer, promising anti-corruption crackdowns, public sector modernization, and re-engagement with international partners. The exile of the Bongo family may be a calculated move to demonstrate that Gabon is turning a page, even if the transition is far from complete. However, critics argue that the true test lies not in removing figureheads but in dismantling the deep-rooted systems of patronage and elite privilege that allowed the Bongo dynasty to flourish for so long. Regional implications. Gabon is not alone in experiencing leadership transitions through military coups. Since 2020, countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Guinea have also undergone similar upheavals. The and Economic Community of Central African States, ECCAS, are now under pressure to define clearer rules for post-coup legitimacy. Angola's decision to accept the Bongos also has regional significance. It suggests Luanda is reasserting itself as a diplomatic stabilizer in Central Africa, willing to host political exiles in the interest of regional peace. Final thoughts: the quiet departure of Ali Bongo marks the end of an era not just for Gabon, but for a broader generation of strongman politics in Africa. Whether his exile is the beginning of true accountability or just another elite accommodation remains to be seen. What is certain is that Gabon now stands at a crossroads, between repeating the past or forging a more transparent, democratic future. And the world is watching. Stay with Worldwire News for continuing updates on Gabon's political transition and regional developments across Central Africa.